One of the first things we dislike about the Dyson V10 is you cannot swap the battery out. Now we've got the Dyson V10 Absolute here. We've also got the V8, the V7, and the V6. Now none of these machines allow you to swap the battery out. It seems that people have been hoping with each new model that that ability will come to pass, and indeed a lot of people had hoped it would be in the V10. It is not. Now what people want is a battery that you can take off, put back on charge, while you have a second battery you can plop back in when the charges run out in the other one and use right away. We've seen that feature on some other brands, and it is a nice feature, but it is not yet available with the Dyson Stickvacs. Another issue with the V10 is that you have to depress the trigger to turn the machine on here. There is no way to lock it into the on position. And indeed, that's the same, once again, with all the Dyson vacuums. Dyson call this something like a runtime enhancing trigger, which essentially means that as soon as you take your finger off, the machine stops, and therefore you're conserving battery power. Some people don't mind it, but some people really don't like it. We don't mind it so much, but it's something worth bringing to your attention. One of the most contentious areas of this vacuum is the runtime. Now, in our opinion, the runtime is actually pretty good for a cordless vacuum, but a lot of people expect that the unit has 60 minutes of runtime on max mode with a powered head, and that's simply not the case. Now Dyson state up to 60 minutes cord-free, fade-free power. Now, yes, that's true, but not in some configurations. In other words, 60 minutes of runtime with this thing, you can't have it in max mode, and you can't use a power tool. You have to go into low power mode. There's 3 modes, maximum, medium, low. You got to go into low. You've got to get rid of any kind of power tool and put on one of these guys, non-motorized or powered heads. So you could put in a brush, for example. Now, I can make that thing click in. There you go. Now, with this configuration in low power mode, about 60 minutes. I should highlight that if you're interested in knowing the runtime for the V10 and all its different configurations, and also the V6, the V7, and the V8, and to see them all compared to one another, we have built a table on our website. There's a link below this video in our write-up. You can click on that and you can see that table. It's just a little too onerous to try to recite all of that here. Emptying the dust canister here on the V10 is more awkward than it is on the V6, the V7, and the V8. Now, we've got a video that we're going to borrow from the written review about the V10 on our website, and we're going to cut that in here, and it shows us kind of discussing emptying the dust canister on the V10 and comparing it to emptying the dust canister in the V8. Emptying the dust canister with the V10 here is a little different than it is with the V6, the V7, and the V8. Now, we've got the V8 here, and you can see that the dust canister is really kind of at a right angle to the wand. Well, the V10, you can see it's really parallel to the wand. It's in line with the wand. So that results in a little different behavior. Now, with these older units, they've got this hygienic emptying system, not all of them, but many of them do, and you can actually empty the dust canister and leave the wand on. You can't do that with the V10. You've got to remove the wand. Typically, I remove the wand anyways. It's not a big deal. I don't mind, but that is a difference. Now, I'll just show you the difference in emptying the two. So let's take the V8 wand off anyways, if I can actually do that. Okay, look over here. We have your basic garbage bin. And if you want to release the dust canister just like that, press it back down, close it up, pretty straightforward. And moving on to the V10, you can see here there's no way to actually empty this thing with the wand attached, because this is your dustbin door here. So we've got to take the wand off. There we go. Move it over there. And Now, emptying this guy. It's going to be a bit tricky for some, and we found the easiest way to do this is put my fingers on the end, and then I just push back with my thumb on the red catch till it clicks. Then you push it down. There you go. Close it back up. There you have it. So it is different than the other ones. It works just as well, although many people do struggle with this, pushing this, and you know, sometimes it feels like you might break it if you push it too hard. So we really found if we just put some fingers at the end, our thumb on this, just let it click, and then it works just fine. So we don't really like that these things just keep creeping up in weight. Now, granted that it's still under 6 pounds, but if we go back to the V6 Absolute, that weighed 5.1 pounds. And we go to the V7 Absolute, that was 5.3 pounds. Then there's the V8 Absolute at 5.75 pounds. Now we've got the V10 at 5.9 pounds. It just keeps creeping up, and you can actually feel the difference. Sometimes it feels like a pleasure to go back to the V6. It's just so light and easy to use. Well, the V10's, it's not that much bigger or heavier. You will feel it. The V10 handheld is certainly getting larger than its predecessors. You can see the V8 here, and then the more diminutive V6. Now, in tight quarters, maybe like a vehicle interiors or something, this could start to get a little bit more unwieldy, certainly more so than the previous units. The power of the Dyson stick vacuums is substantial on maximum mode. Now at the far end we've got the V6, and it produces 100 air watts of suction on max mode. Next to that's the V7. It also produces 100 air watts of suction. The V8 here is 115 air watts of suction on max mode, and the V10 151 air watts of suction. But all of these only run about 5 to 7 minutes in max mode on a full battery charge. In low power mode and with a powered cleaner head, the V10 is giving you 35 minutes of runtime. Now the V8 over here in the same configuration, low power mode and the powered cleaner head, well, it's giving you 25 minutes of runtime. But the numbers can be a little bit confusing. The V10 is only producing in low power mode 15.8 air watts of suction, while the V8 in low power mode is producing 28 air watts of suction. Is the cleaning power of the V10 better than the V8? Now, you don't have to run this on low power mode. We often run it on medium. So here we can just bump this up to medium. Now that's going to give us 33.8 air watts of suction for 20 minutes. And over here with the V8, you've got 28 air watts of suction for 25 minutes. Now, we're going to put down a debris field here, and we'll run both vacuums over it. We'll do a few passes, and we'll see, can we really tell a cleaning difference? And if you can see one, great. If you can't, well, you have to wonder about the value proposition. In this video, we're going to do a visual inspection of the debris field after we clean it first with the V10 on medium power mode, which is 33.8 air watts of suction, and then the V8 on low power mode, which is 28 air watts of suction. So first, here we go with the V10 medium power. Okay, now it does a good job, although we've got the setting in the front set in the middle between larger debris and maximum suction. And as you can see, if I stretch over here, we did get the odd little piece that still got pushed around by the front. But overall, pretty good job. Now let's see what the V8 can do. Okay, this is the same debris. We've got the V8 here. We're going to put it in low power mode, which is 28 air watts of suction. Let's see how that performs. Okay, so there you have it. We didn't actually see it push anything around. I don't know why one would have and one would not have. That may just be a random event. But once again, it does a fine job. Pretty difficult to really nail down a difference between the two at this level. And finally, the V10 is an expensive vacuum cleaner. It's about $200 to $250 more than the V8, and it's about twice the price of the V7 and the V6. So those are some of the things we dislike about the Dyson V10 Absolute. Now, there are actually some things we really do like about this machine, and you can see those in our video entitled Things We Love About the Dyson V10. Thanks a lot for watching.